Howdy folks, my name's Jeff and welcome back to the workshop. Before we get started, if you're like, Jeff, boy, it sounds like it's raining, you would be correct because the rainy season has returned here to my part of Costa Rica. Thank God, gracias a Dios, because it has been hot. And if it sounds like, oh, now they stop. If it sounds like there is a, oh, there they go. If it sounds like there is a chorus of weed whackers going on in the background, you would also be correct. And you might be asking yourself, Jeff, did they not get the memo about you recording today? Anyways, today we are going to be working on a putty knife. I found this little gem at the flea market about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I really like the putty knives that I have. You know, these older ones, the vintage ones that have the nice like rosewood handles and the little rivets in them. So I figured it would be a fun project to turn this little disaster into a nice little vintage looking putty knife. So I tell you what, let's head up to the command center and let's talk about what we're going to do today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back up to the command center. Everything seems to be running just fine up here today, so let's go ahead and fire up the mainframe and let's talk about our putty knife project. All right, so we've got our first image up here on the mainframe, and this is just an overall view of our putty knife, and you can see it's in general, it is just a rusty, dirty mess. So the first order of the day will be to get that thing cleaned up, and we can see on there that it's definitely going to have some pitting. So we'll see what we can or cannot do with it as we go along. So as we can see with this picture right here, the blade of the putty knife, the rust has worked its way through that edge corner. So we're just going to have to do a reprofile of the blade. We will take it back a little bit and then put a little soft edge on it so we can, do scraping with it and stuff. Now, as you can also see in this picture right here, our knife has a bend, like right where the handles would stop on the knife and transition into the blade of the knife itself. So we are going to also have to take the bend out of that spot right there. And once we get all those little things done, plus tackle any other little surprises that we find, we are going to be using some purple heart wood for the scales of the handle for our putty knife. This is the same wood I used a few months ago on this ball peen hammer right here, which I think it turned out beautifully. So hopefully we will have the same results with our handle on the putty knife as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got some work ahead of us, so let's talk more shop. Let's get to it. right, everyone, welcome back to the command center. Let's go ahead and see where we are right now. We are going to bring up our first picture. Rust remove. Here is a before, and here is the after. We've got that rust removed and everything. Now, you'll notice up in the corner right there, I decided to round over one of the corners. And I was just watching an episode of Scout Crafter after working on this, and he did a putty knife, and he rounded one of his corners on his putty, actually two of his putty knives, so he could actually use it for like caulking and everything. And I was like, that's a great idea. So I went ahead and did that on this putty knife as well. And as you can see in this picture, we got the bend out of it and everything, so it's nice and straight and ready to use. So the next step is to make the wooden scales for our handle, and we are going to be using our purple heart wood, and this is a very hard wood. So we're going to cut the scales, and then we will probably glue them in place or epoxy them in place, and then shape them to their final shape using various implements. Okay, that's what's next. So I tell you what, let's get right back down to the shop and let's get to it. All right, folks, we are making good progress on the putty knife. We have the scales for our handle roughed into shape. and everything. If we switch to another picture here, you can see fits right in the hand. I got a little aggressive with the chisel on the side of the scale where it's for the rounded side of the putty knife, but I actually think it works out very nice because that different shape to the handle tells you which side is the rounded side just by feel. So you don't even have to look at that. So we're not going to try to correct that too much. It was a happy mistake. So what's left is that we will just continue to refine that shape. Instead of it looking all blocky, we are going to make it nice and rounded and smooth and comfortable in the hand. And then we are going to make some rivets and peen over the rivets into those holes. And then we will be ready for final finish, putting our finish on it. I'm not sure what type of finish I'm going to use yet. All right, enough talk. Let's get back down to the shop and let's get finishing our putty knife. All right, folks, putty knife, it's all done, ready to go. I just got done taking pictures of it in the photo booth over there, so I'm excited to show you how it turned out. Let's take a look together. All right, as you know, it all started with our rusty, crusty putty knife that we found at the flea market, and now it looks like this. Hey folks, I just want to say thanks once again for joining me here in the Raging Deacon workshop. I had a great time working on our putty knife project in this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So, before we go, I do have a question to ask you. Hold on a sec. Listen, do you have any spare or unused tools in your workshop? I mean, I know you do. But if you have any spare or unused tools in your workshop, I want to encourage you to donate those tools to a charity of your choosing, because a good tool is more than just a tool. A good tool is an opportunity, and everyone deserves a good tool. Rain's starting, means I gotta go and get inside before I get soaking wet. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.